Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for part 2 of my steps rebuild and top 5 tips really to finding a contractor to start work on a project around your home or office or space. Sorry I ended the first video without explaining the tips. I thought it was getting a little long, so let me break it up. So this is essentially what I've done. Some tips I did get offline, but also really what I did in real time, real life. Sometimes, you have these instructions online and they don't really cross over depending on where you live or how you live, or perhaps even the budget you're working with, or the contractor, the type of companies you have available to you. All of these things are factors. So I don't think it's a one size fits all. You can go online and Google research tips to finding a contractor. I just, this is a little bit more, I want to say a little more homegrown, or, I don't know how to really express it, but perhaps it's not as professionally stated. I don't know how to get it. To really express it, but it's just really more, I guess, down to earth, organic information on how to find a contractor and what's worked for me so far with my steps rebuild. So there are definite tips that are professional tips that you should follow online, but also, depending on the region you live in and the type of work that you have going, you might be able to make some adjustments within those suggestions. Okay, so that's really what I'm trying to say. So number one, the first tip, I would say, you want to, actually just know the work that you have done, right? Whatever it is, if it's steps, if it's the roof, if it's a door, if it's windows, if it's, siding, paneling, yard work, whatever it is, the work you want to do. You want to reach out to your contractor. Now, they also have search engines online that you can put in your zip code, where you live, your town, your city, and they can, I guess, on behalf of you, contact contractors in your area, or give you the information of the contractors in your area to give you an estimate. You can do it that way too. So you can, whatever you feel is easiest and best for you. The way I did it, contacting contractors first, is really, since I have a home, typically almost every day you'll find flyers, you'll find little cards or letters, in your mailbox or on your door, like door hangers of different contracting companies, because with a home, it's inevitable. You're gonna need work done, because it's not like if you're renting or you're living in a home and someone else is the landlord or the owner, and they take care of everything. Whatever it is broken or not working, or needs changing, needs upgrading, you go to that person and say, hey, this is what needs to be done. When you're owning your own home, of course that person is you, so inevitably you're going to need work to be done on it, because like everything over time, it will depreciate and it will degrade and need the improvement, right? So without fail, like just about everyone on my street, different contractors will come, put it in the post box, put it. So when I got serious, instead of taking it and dumping it in the garbage like usual, I started to put them to the side and call them and find out if they do the work or specialize in the work that I'm asking for, and if they do, can they send me pictures of what they have done already? So I'm trusting that they're sending me pictures of their work, okay? But the other thing is, I did do a little bit of research online to see if they had some of them will have their license listed on the card. If you go on a website, you check them, they'll have their license listed, license number, insurance number, and that. And I did try to go through some government sites or state sites, government sites that would have contractor license number. You can look it up, and that some of them didn't pan out, like it could not be found, or but majority of them will say, oh, licensed contractor and that. But you can always put anything on a card. You have to do your research, you have to do your homework. So I just trusted that this person sending me photos, pictures, that is their work. you know. And it was based off of, yes, one of those flyers or cards that came through my mailbox or in my door frame, or, you know, hung on the handle or whatever. So I started to accumulate them, and I started to ask them to send me pictures of their work. And if I was someone intrigued enough, I would say, listen, can you come by my house? Not even intrigued. I just said, you know what? I just scheduled with them, you know, plainly. I said, you know, let's meet up. You know, we arranged a time for them to come by and give me an estimate on the work that I was asking. And, you know, I just kept it in mind. I wrote it down. I kept a little notebook of what contractor company said, you know, the work, including this, and that, and the fourth, with their number, what's their estimate, okay? And then I would just accumulate it. And at the end, once I had all that information written down, I assessed based on what one contractor said they would do. Maybe some of them made suggestions on what they could also offer me in that estimate, and so forth and so forth. And I compared, and I said, you know what, there's times where I also said, you know what, one contractor offered me maybe 2 or 3 other suggestions of what they would do on the work. And I just would ask another contractor, oh, so how much is this if I included that? You know, and they say, oh, same price, or it would be $100 more, or, you know, $200 more, or $1,000 more, or whatever. So as I went along and I'm learning, I'm also changing my questions depending on the information I've now gathered from another contractor, and saying, okay, well, I might want that done, and he's offering a lower estimate. Would you do this? Would you include that in, and go from there? So that's the first, is just contacting them. Doing that research though. Please find out if they're licensed. You know, you can go off your instinct based on the estimate and say, listen, you know, I'm gonna go with them anyway. I don't know that they're licensed, but I have a good feeling about this person. But again, that could be not the wisest. You don't want to just have a good feeling about someone and then they leave you in the lurch. You paid them, you know, 30, 40, 50% down already of the cost, and they don't show up, or they're giving you a hard time to come back. You just don't want to find yourself in that situation. I'm relatively recent to this, so I'm just grateful and thankful to God, and I prayed as well. I prayed that I was going to get the right person to do the work. Also, though, once I was satisfied with maybe a few of their estimates, I said, listen, send me a proposal. And if I like it, you know, I'll sign it. We can sign a contract and go forward with the work. But send me what that is, the estimate, the proposal, everything of the breakdown, you know, scheduling, you know, the materials, you know, everything, you know. And my contractor, I was actually really impressed by his proposal and the contract that he had sent me, because it was very thorough, and it also said that they would provide me with the information of, you know, their insurance number and their license number, and that I didn't ask for it, but they said they would provide it upon, like, prior to work beginning. Now, I was asking for changes in the proposal, you know, little changes before I actually signed, which they did make. I felt really comfortable with the contractor, and that's why I proceeded. But really and truly, you should get that information and check against it as much as you possibly can. Like I was saying before, my sister had someone come to me that did her steps rebuild, and you know, he and his team went, and I go over there quite often. Immaculately done. Incredible and exceptionally done, you know. So at least I had some sort of reference for him to know that he is who he says he is, and someone's vouching for him. Someone has already employed him to do the work, and I saw for myself, you know. So that's also a great way to get someone to work on your house. If you know someone that has already assigned a contractor to some project at their home and it's done really well, you've seen it, they can vouch for that person. You know, you can also ask them for references of people that they've worked with and contact them yourself. You should be able to get that far if you really are considering a contractor. Say, listen, do you have people that you've already completed work for? Can I get their information? Maybe they'll have to check with the individual if someone can blind call them and ask them about the work. It can happen. So you can even go that far if you need to, just to have that security for your own self. All right, so enough about number one. This video is getting a little bit long. So the second would be, like I said, really the second would be to contact contractor, meet up with them and discuss the work that you want, right? The third, I think I kind of covered everything in one, really. The third I would say is get the estimate, record, like I said before, record what they're saying they'll do for what price. And then, like again, I think I touched base on each tip in a rolling explanation. So I had them written down here. So the other one is, if you're satisfied with the estimate they give you, you go ahead and ask them for, a proposal, contract, and that, and make sure you review. The last one I would say, this is tip 5. So it's review the proposal. Make sure it's very in-depth and descriptive, and it includes everything. I mean, if they're gonna do work like with the steps, the wood had to be taken away. Any debris, any garbage, anything that was accumulated during the work process. I wanted the inclusion of refuse removal, which means, garbage, whatever is done, I want it to be removed. I don't want the work to be done great, up to standard, up to satisfaction, and then I'm left with my old steps and garbage and rubble and all that, and they're like, oh well, gee, we didn't cover that in the contract, so you do have to find someone that's going to remove that, or we can remove it for you at an extra cost. You don't want any of that, because people can get really kind of slimy, and it's just people, it's just human nature. So just to safeguard, I don't typically think they do things like that. I think once they're doing the work, they will haul the debris or the garbage away from the project, because that's a part of the work as well, right? Completion. But you want to be sure, because sometimes people will like to finagle an extra couple dollars wherever they can. So you just want to be really thorough about when they're going to start. Approximately once you sign the contract, when can you expect the work to be done. Also understand with construction, it is based a lot on the weather. So sometimes they can say they're going to start at one point in time and it's raining or it's snowing or really bad weather or storm is happening and they cannot start the work. You really want to be a little more understanding that anything can come up. And usually, the contract that I had it listed that, weather, sans any weather, or supply issues, the work should commence in, I don't know, maybe 4 days or a week or what have you, and be satisfied with the start time as well. You might have a project and it needs immediate attention, but also understand that weather is a factor if it's outside work. If it's indoor work, perhaps, you can expect a little bit more of a succinct time. And also you have to remember that maybe they also have other projects that they're working on at the same time. So you want to be understanding. Okay, so I kind of ran through the topics all in one. I'm sorry I didn't break them down as clearly as I would have liked. But yes, one would be contractors. You can look online for contractors in your area. Google search, I live in, Springfield, wherever. Google that and see what comes up, and maybe you want to call someone that's really close to your home. And I would say try to make it more local if you can, because I also think that once a contractor travels from anywhere, I truly feel that he's going to include his travel fee in that estimate. So if it's close to your home, you may have a better chance of having a lower estimate simply because they're close by and they don't have to haul materials and gas and all this stuff that can go on with just travel. So that's my take on it, but maybe that's not always true. So that would be the first one. Find your contractor, meet with your contractor, discuss the work that you are planning on doing with the contractor, get an estimate, and keep track of the estimates that they give you so you have something to compare on what's the best. And not just because someone's the cheapest, you want to go with them. You do want to be content with the fact that they are licensed, they're insured, maybe the quality of their work, if they're showing you pictures or, you know, sending you any information, you go on their website and you're not really satisfied with how they've been finishing the jobs or how they presented the job. Maybe you may go with someone that, you know, it's a bit more expensive, but the standard is higher, the communication is better, the professionalism is there, you know, all these things come into play. So you don't just want to say, oh, he's cheap, but he'll give you a headache and a half down the road just because he was cheaper, you know, so be careful with that. Yeah, so, you know, you get the estimate and make sure, you know, it involves all the scope of work and you're happy with that. Next thing you want to go on to is a proposal, and once they give you the proposal, you can sign the contract and go ahead with the work. Just make sure it's really thorough before you sign, and it's down to your it's down to your liking, pretty much, you know, it's it's included everything. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. Sorry, this video is a little bit long, but that's what I did to do my steps so far. And the next one I'll be doing, the next project I have is my roof. So I hope I can take you along with that as well. And I'll make a video updating you on what's happening with that, because at the moment it's in the process. But there's been a bit of delay as well, you know, timing wise with the contractor. We're getting ready to go into a holiday and the weather hasn't been as consistent. So, you know, it's fine. You know, I'm taking my time with this, and I hope that we can redo my dream home with you alongside. So thank you so much for sticking with me and listening to some of my rambles. But I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.